Hello, welcome to Unequal Sequel
Extra.
It is Friday, and get ready, it's fight night.
Oh, nice.
I thought that on the spot.
I like it. Yeah,
thank you.
Very good.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome to Unequal Sequel, the podcast where we chat sequels and all about them. It's a lot of fun because we love sequels. The other voice you just heard is my podcasting pal. That's Rich. Rich, how are you?
Well, in this ongoing saga, I tell you what, this is dedication, right?
Yeah,
doing
this
this
is
podcast because essentially I nearly died last week. Been a bit dramatic about it, but
I'm laughing. That's great.
So yeah, got taken into hospital last Wednesday. Because I have type 1 diabetes.
Oh, sorry,
You didn't. Yeah, you ruined my punchline. Yeah,
Go on.
I've got type 1 diabetes, and I didn't even fall in the Thames.
Oh, and what do they call you?
Yes, so I went for a blood test at the doctor's, just a normal standard blood test, and the nurse looked at my blood test, which she did it all there and then, looked at my blood sugar and went, "You're a ticking time bomb." And I was like, oh, good. Oh, goody.
It's only funny because you've had such a shit, like, you're continuously ill. You're like, oh, just tally it up, put it up on the list, we'll go again.
So there we go, ticking time bomb. And then straight after that, she took my blood pressure and went, "Oh, your blood pressure's quite high." I was like, "You just told me I'm a ticking time bomb." I'm surprised. And then she's like, "Right, off to A&E." Like, straight off to A&E, taken into hospital, blood sugar of like 31 and it's supposed to be like 8. And yeah, not far off my you have these things called ketones in your blood as well. I'm learning all this new stuff, which were ridiculously high, and they were worried I was going to go into a coma.
Yeah, and none of this is your fault at all, is it?
No, it's an autoimmune disease. My fault. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
People who have diabetes, it's not your fault. But no, it's not a lifestyle diabetes.
Yes, that's what
It's not type 2 diabetes. It's type 1. So that means that essentially one day my pancreas that went, nah, not gonna bother with the insulin anymore. Just gonna stop. And that happened. But yeah, it's an autoimmune disease, so it's just like my other autoimmune disease that I have.
Brilliant.
And possibly a third one they're looking at now. So something called hemochromatosis, which is another thing they're looking into. But yeah.
Oh.
So there we go.
Well,
all good.
Did going to the cinema cheer you up by any chance?
Well, do you know what? It was nice to go to the cinema and watch a good film. That's all I'm going to say.
Spoiler.
I wasn't sure I wasn't going to be able to watch this movie. So yeah, have we said what we're going to do? What we're doing this week?
Not yet, no.
Oh, okay. We should probably say, shouldn't we?
Oh yeah, good point.
You know, not just rambling on about my health, but Creed 3, reviewing Creed 3, which I'm quite excited about. I actually watched Creed 2 in hospital. So I got my wife to bring my iPad and my headphones in for me, and I sat there and watched Creed 2 in hospital because that's dedication.
It is,
because I've not seen it before, and that's really good. I really enjoyed that.
You've seen all 3 of them now.
I've seen all 3 of them now. Yeah.
That's good. I've watched all of them as well, and plus I watched all the Rockies. I took my wife to Rocky school in the last couple of weeks.
Nice.
Because I thought you might have to sit in for Rich for this one, so. Better brush up. And so I've been trying to make her watch the Rocky films for ages and the Creed films. It was a mixed boat. I'm not going to lie to you. She liked Rocky 1. She was surprised it's more not just about boxing.
Yeah.
She kind of lost her wager in 2 and 3, to be honest. 4 she thought was fun. 5 I showed her the beginning, the middle, and the end and explained what the fuck was going on. She wasn't a fan of that. And then 6 she really liked. Because she's like, this is like a proper movie. Because it's like modern, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the Creed films, she really liked. Liked the Creed films with Michael B. Jordan. So all up to date. Creed 3, have to say, I don't think I could have gone in this and not think it was a bad film. Because, oh man, I get pumped watching these movies and the music. And I'm like, come on, Rocky. And even though Creed, whatever, punch him.
I watched it on like a weekday early evening, I'd say.
Right.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
It was packed. It's the most full time that I've been to the cinema in a long time. It was absolutely jam-packed.
That's because it's made shitloads of money.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like... I mean, it was after work time, but it wasn't like proper in the evening.
Oh, really?
Time. Yeah, it wasn't like prime movie-going time.
Did people get up and cheer by any chance?
No, nobody got up and cheered. But there's a really like a teenage couple sat next to me, and all the way through it, they were going like, "Oh, getting well into it."
Well, that's good. So should we start with the positives or the negatives? Have you got any negatives to? I think we can do a spoiler-free review here. Because it hits all the beats of any other Rocky Creed film.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I don't think we have to give away the ending. There's a big fight.
Yeah, although it does sort of twist it a little bit, because Rocky's always the scrappy one, isn't he, in the Rocky films? And in this one, it's like Jonathan Major's character, Dame, who's the scrappy one, right?
He's more than scrappy. He's dirty.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
He is, yeah. We should just completely cover at the beginning. No Rocky in this film. Did you know that was going to happen? Did you see the announcements beforehand?
And I did miss him a little bit,
There's always a little bit of a Rocky hole, isn't there?
There was a little bit. Just a little bit. Not loads.
Not as much as I thought. I thought going in, I'm going to really miss Rocky in this film and his wise words.
Do we know why Rocky's not in it? Do we know why
I can give you a quote from Michael B. Jordan if you want. I was reading earlier. He says, this is with an interview with Hot 97. I should give them credit. So he had an interview with them. He says, first of all, Sly and Rocky's DNA is through this entire franchise. You can't have these movies without that. That underdog spirit, I think, connects the underdog in all of us. So he doesn't really mention it then. I think I think what we love about these movies so much is that we see somebody that's going through hardships, that's able to rise from the ashes and reach the mountaintop. And we connect with that. For us, we connect with characters that can do the same. And that's what we do with Adonis Creed. Jordan continued, I wanted Adonis Creed to stand on his own feet. In order to do that, we had to go to the past. What these transformation years, those childhood traumas that shaped Adonis today. I think the room for this story was really about Adonis Creed moving forward with his family and having him move forward. That's kind of how we rolled out the story on this one.
I get it. I do. It did kind of give a bit more space for Adonis to be the main character, didn't it?
Yeah, and there's that bit at the end of Creed 2 when Sly, Rocky literally says to him, it's your time now, kid. Gives him a fist bump and walks away.
Yeah.
So there was kind of that passing of the torch anyway. Not saying that I agree with it, because I bloody love Rocky and I love Stallone playing that role.
Yeah.
But we've been through quite a journey with Rocky already. So having Adonis, like he says, stand on his own 2 feet is not a bad thing. And it freshened up the story a little bit, like that way. For me, the DNA was still like a Rocky film. You had the underdog and the Rocky the montages and stuff like that, and the music. The music's always cool in the Creed films.
It was weird. I say weird. It was clever how they make Creed the underdog, because there's in every other aspect of the world, he's not the underdog.
Absolutely.
It's definitely not. But so yeah, it's interesting how they do that. But I thought you were going to ask me for a synopsis.
Oh, we haven't gone into that. Yes. Rich, can you tell the synopsis of Creed 3, please? Have you made notes?
Small, yes, a little. That's why I was waiting for you to ask, and you didn't. I was like, of course you didn't. I'm prepared for it, and you're not going to ask me.
Okay. Creed 3, go.
So, yeah, I believe shortly after the events of Creed 2, I'd say. It doesn't seem to be a long time after Creed 2, a couple of years maybe. Then Adonis Creed decides to retire from boxing. He's the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
He does, yeah.
Ends on a high and bows out of boxing. Then sets up his own gym and starts training a new protege called Felix. I want to say Felix.
Yes, I think it's Felix. He basically becomes a promoter, doesn't he?
Yeah, it sort of becomes like there's a joke about him being Don King at one point.
Yes.
Without the hair. And that's sort of where he goes. But he sort of has difficulty finding sparring partners for Chavez because he keeps knocking him out. And then a friend from his past comes back. Somebody called Damien or Dame, who has been in prison for 18 years, I think they say, for defending Adonis in a fight. Basically, Adonis is getting beaten up, and Dame pulls a gun and helps him. Then Adonis runs off, and the police arrest Dame, and he goes to prison for 18 years, which seems a lot.
It does seem a lot, but...
It does seem a long time.
It's America.
It turns out that Dame was a championship boxer before he went into prison, and he wants his shot at the title, even though he's not boxed for 18 years and he's old, and everyone's saying he's too old. But Adonis gives him his shot. I won't go into all that because you'll see how it pans out in the movie. Adonis gives him his shot. He beats Felix. Is that a spoiler? I don't know if that's a sort of a spoiler. And it sets up, and it sets up a head-to-head between the two of them. Boom. For the heavyweight title of the world.
We didn't see that, ladies and gentlemen. It was Rich punching his microphone.
Yeah, I did genuinely punch my microphone.
That's how riled up this movie gets you.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
it does. Yeah,
and there's some nice bits with his gran and his wife and daughter and stuff as well. Adonis is like
Tessa Thompson and Michael B. Jordan's chemistry.
So good, right?
It's so hot. Like,
so good.
You go into some films and they're just two people you can't see any chemistry together, and then when it's so refreshing when you go, I use that word a lot, refreshing when you go into a film and actual two people feel like they are a couple and know each other. And, really good. Also, the chemistry with Jonathan Majors. Majors is a lot more scary in this film than I found in that Quantumania.
Hell yeah, hell's yes. When it sort of comes to light. Like the again, I don't want to talk about it. If we're doing a spoiler-free one, I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, when stuff comes to light, you're like, oh, bloody evil genius.
But, there's a question like every Rocky has a bad guy. And again, like the Damien character isn't, you can see
he's
little
bit.
He's not
really a bad guy.
He's not really. He's got a
chip on his shoulder.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. But he's not out and out Drago or Clubber Lang bad.
No, I mean even like young Drago isn't a baddie, is he? Him and Adonis are friends now.
He's been accepted into the circle of trust.
Yeah, he has.
It seems it's quite a long film. Rich, did that have a problem with that?
No, actually, it whizzed by. Yeah, it wasn't too long at all. It was, what was it, 2 hours? A bit longer.
It was just under 2 hours. Yeah, by a smidge.
Yeah,
which I think
that's
is actually,
all right.
I think it's the shortest out of the Creed films. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I think Creed 2 is like 2 hours 15. But I felt like this just flowed really nicely. And there was a bit when I was watching it, I was thinking, how are they going to get Adonis back in the ring? And then shit goes down. And I was like, oh, I wonder what the montage is going to be like. Really good. There's probably just one big montage, I would say.
Yeah, one big montage, but it does it really nicely of contrasting two types of prepreration, isn't it? They sort of do the two fighters with kind of nice.
I have to say I liked the Wood Harris character who plays Tony Little Duke Burton, which is Duke's son who's running the gym. You've seen the last two movies as well.
Yeah.
I thought, again, chemistry with everyone, very funny, his roles.
Yeah.
Man, these films get me pumped. I've watched a lot of Rockies and boxing films recently, and I'm currently going on a diet. So it's been absolutely the perfect thing to watch along by starting a diet. I can absolutely guarantee that it's a great way to kick that off if anyone's going, oh, what do I do? Watch all Rocky films, maybe not 5, and then the Creeds, and then it puts you in a really good place.
And I watched it surrounded by people eating nachos in the cinema.
So did I. I went IMAX. Did you go IMAX?
No, I didn't. I just went normal screening because it's the only time I could do.
This podcast is brought to you by AT&T Fiber with All-Fi. Something tells me that the guy watching sports for 13 hours straight on Sunday, who then stays up watching the recaps of those 13 hours, then calls his friends to talk about it, is definitely going to notice that half-a-second delay.
Get AT&T Fiber with All-Fi and watch sports any time of day from anywhere in your house. Live like a gigillionaire. Limited availability in select areas. Go to att.com/hypergig to check eligibility. Coverage may require extenders at additional charge.
I went IMAX because the Michael B. Jordan IMAX adverts really worked on me.
Yeah, they were good, weren't they?
I saw a lot of them. And he was like, "Oh, we've been filming this as the only sports film or something to be filmed with IMAX cameras.
Yeah.
These fight scenes seem so real." I was like, "Oh, I'm sold."
What did you think? Do you think it was drastically different?
I thought there was some of the slow-mo stuff, if that makes sense, I thought was really cool. And there's a really bit in the last fight when I thought was really different, like they take the crowd away kind of thing, and just had the two boxers. But yeah, I think obviously they're so much better shot now than they were in the Rocky films. Even just the way the prosthetics look and the movement of the boxers, and they guard their faces now. They put their hands up,
which is
so good.
Rocky never guards ever.
I was watching Creed the other day, and there's a bit when Rocky is telling Creed to put his hands up, and I was like, "You never did that. You never ever. You just put your face in the front."
Yeah, it's because Rocky's face is made of rock. That's why he's got the name.
Yeah. You went by yourself. Have you recommended it to anyone? Like, do you think there's enough here for people who hadn't watched Creed films before, or any Rocky films? Do you know what I mean? I think
you could actuuld. I think you could go in at this. Yeah,
this is the highest grossing sports movie ever, or something at the moment. Like,
really,
biggest, weekend, which is quite a big thing. I think you can go in fresh. I mean, you won't get all the little nods like him fighting a certain fighter at the beginning, which is a nice callback, and the training bits. But there's enough here to keep anyone entertained.
There are enough nods to the Rocky franchise to make it fit, without going too much over the top to make it not a standalone movie. You know, like I think with Creed 2, it was so very much a mirror of Rocky 4. You know,
it's a companion piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would call Creed 2.
It fits into that narrative, and I think to really get the most out of it, you had to have watched Rocky 4.
Oh yeah.
But this,
absolutely,
I don't think you could get loads out of it without having to watch any of the other movies.
But do you think that's because Rocky's not in it, so that there's not that link?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
You don't really need to know who Adonis's Creed father is at this point. You probably do need to know that in Creed, the Apollo connection.
I mean, you know that his dad's a boxer. You know that kind of.
The only thing that's really hanging on to this film, to other films, is now Creed's mum. I would say a lot,
and the music.
And the music is so different from obviously the Rocky films, which are a piece of their time. Especially Rocky 4 and Rocky 5's music is just...
But there's still the...
I did cheer when that came on, and they sample it near the end. But yeah, it's more like hip-hop, R&B, more, I would say, rooted to the background of the fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
But man, I sat there, I was like, I'm really enjoying this. I read someone the other day saying they were bored stiffless, like for the first time, and I don't get that.
Really?
There's 3 big fights in it. There's a good one at the beginning. There's obviously the one in the middle.
The one at the beginning, like you said about the slow-mo, the first fight, the slow-mo effects in that fight are incredible.
I thought that was going to come back more.
Me too.
A little bit more. They were really making, this is going to be a thing. And it doesn't quite. They do something slightly different in the last fight. I ain't got a problem with it because I enjoyed it immensely. Do I think they went outside the box enough? Probably not, but did they have to? No.
Probably not. No.
Probably not, you know. At this point, we're now a third into a trilogy. What is this? The 8th out of that franchise. I don't think you need to do, really. I think people are going to, like fans of us, go and sit for that.
Isn't it? It's the 9th.
You're right. I sometimes forget about 6, and I don't know why. And even though I think it's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
How do you think this lines up in the trilogy for you? Best, worst?
It's
a strong trilogy, Rich.
Towards the top. Yeah, I would say. Yes, I think it might be the best of the 3.
Do you reckon? I'm not. I don't know yet.
Though. I really enjoyed 2, but then I might have been a bit high.
Yeah.
I was watching it in hospital on an iPad, so I might have been a bit off my noodle.
I can only imagine that helped you through your day.
Yeah, it did, definitely. Yeah.
Bit of encouragement
And also,
from Rocky.
I only had like an hour's sleep, so I was like...
The question about Rocky 2, did you know the plot before you watched it? Did you know it was going to be like a Rocky 4
Creed
companion
2?
piece? Creed
no,
2, yeah.
I had no idea, no. I knew nothing about it, essentially.
Yeah, my wife was surprised when that started. She was like... And we only watched Rocky 4 like a few days earlier, so she was...
Brilliant.
She was on it.
Brilliant.
I was like, and I kept pointing out, like, remember this, remember this. And then she told me to shut up.
Yeah, I bet she did. Nice.
She couldn't believe the robot out of the fourth one, by the way.
Oh God, the robot.
we did the original, not the recut director's cut from.
Quite like
year.
the recut, the rewatch.
Yeah, so did I.
It was good, yeah.
I kind of forgot about the robot was even a thing.
Yeah.
I would like to see a homage to the robot in number 5 in this one, because we now live in a time where robots could be real.
Could you imagine the robot coming back?
Yeah, it'd be crazy, wouldn't it? What is this?
Amazing.
Do you think the use of the sign language is all cool?
Yeah, definitely. I was going to talk about that, about how kind of rounded Tessa Thompson's character feels. You know, like an actual character with her own story arc, you know, her own stuff going on. She's not just...
I would say this one, she's a little bit in the back burner, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely not the main character. She's definitely a very supporting character in this one, but she does have her own thing. You know, she's not just his wife.
No.
You know, she's got her own career.
Her own
she's got
job.
her own stuff. Yeah, exactly. You know, she's doing her thing. And a lot of the time, it's actually Adonis. When Adonis is retired, it's him supporting her, isn't it? You know, like, I think that's quite nice to see.
I also like it. They did make a big thing about it because it's now in that family environment. It's normal. Like, it's an everyday thing, like the sign language and all that. So they didn't have to make a big thing at the beginning, like the daughter's death. We get it. You know.
Yeah,
it
and they did that in a
natural.
clever way, didn't they? Because they brought Damien in as the outsider, and then used that to explain kind of, this is, you know, she's deaf and this is sign language, and it's quite a clever way of doing that, I think.
Yeah.
So if you do come from, and you know that from, you know she's deaf from Creed 2. If you've seen Creed 2, you know that the daughter's deaf, don't you? Because that's in that. But you don't need to have seen Creed 2 to understand it.
No, it flows really nicely. It's very natural. Yeah, the fight scenes. It's a great boxing film. It really is.
It really is. I really want his house. I really want Adonis Creed's house. It's amazing.
I want his little pool table, like office.
Yeah.
I want the wife's recording studio.
Yep.
The swimming pool. Let's just say the house.
Yeah. The whole lot.
Do you reckon there's going to be a Rocky 4? No, Creed 4. Fucking hell. Creed 4.
Well, I guess that would be the 10th one in the franchise, wouldn't it? So maybe. I don't know. I think it'd be nice to end it here, personally.
There is a nod of where it can go in the future. Like, I would say a few years in the future. You can't keep bringing a character out of retirement back in.
No, you can't. No.
Especially when they make such a big deal of Adonis being old.
Yeah.
In this, I'm not quite sure where else his character could go.
No.
But if they do stop here, it's a lovely trilogy.
Absolutely. I think they should stop here. I'm not sure if they will.
They won't.
Like
now.
you said, it's making a load of money. So
it's got good reviews. It's making nice money. It's a nice, solid franchise. You know what I mean? Studio's always a big fan of those.
So made like nearly $60 million opening weekend.
It's good, isn't it?
That's pretty good. That's almost its whole production budget back in the opening weekend.
Boom.
So,
did you think, like, obviously this was filmed during COVID and the crowds and stuff? Happy with all the CGI? We have to talk about CGI because
I didn't notice it at all. I think, I think some of the entrance scene, you know, the entrances that the boxers have are brilliant.
Yeah. It's like wrestlers, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. Like, I don't watch a lot of boxing, so I don't know if boxers in real life have entrances like that, but they are incredible.
Some do. Yeah, some do. Prince Nazim, his was classics. Wilder recently does some pretty crazy things. But yeah, because I was watching Creed 1 the other day, and you can tell that final fight when he's fighting Tony Bellew at Goodison Park in Everton is just it doesn't.
Tony Bellew.
What did I call Bellewer?
Bellewer, yeah.
He's great. Don't punch me in the face. And you can kind of tell not everything clips together in that fight, but this one, I pulled right in.
I would have said, if you'd have watched it back, I'd have said there's very little CGI.
Yeah, but there was, because they shot it during COVID. Honestly, apparently they only had like 20 extras in the first few rows.
Amazing.
So to fill a stadium like that, the Dodgers Stadium in LA, I think it was. I don't know how they did it. It looked great, I thought. We'll get to the big questions now. So we've decided we kind of want Creed to stick where it is, but at the same point, I wouldn't argue if they put a fourth one in front of me. I wouldn't know where they go away from Adonis. Though, if that is a thing they want to do. They can't find another son, or Rocky's got a secret son, or something like that.
Rocky has got a son. It's Milo Venter. What's his name?
Yeah, but he can't start boxing.
He's older than Adonis.
Clubber Lang has a child. I don't know.
No, we can't do that again.
You ain't so bad. You ain't so bad. Rocky 3 is fun. Okay, so Unequal sequel, yes or no? And what do you give it out of 7?
I would say it's a pretty equal sequel.
But not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way at all. Like, because 2 is really good, and I think 3 is also really good.
Has this trilogy surprised you, Rich? Because you're quite new to it, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. I'm quite new to the Rocky trilogy, really. I'd seen the Rocky trilogy, the Rocky franchise. Sorry, I meant. I'd seen Rocky. I'd seen the first one, and I think I'd seen Rocky 4, but I hadn't seen any in between before we started doing this podcast. And
so which ones have you not seen?
I've still not seen 6. I haven't seen 3 or 6, so I've got to go back and watch those.
Wow, you're in such a treat, because 6 is great. And you still love these 3. Wow.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Okay, so equal and out of 7. I just forgot what we were doing. It's hard, this. Okay, out of 7.
Out of 7, I think... I'm not going to give it 7. I don't think it's perfect.
No.
But it's very good. And I think 6 out of 7 for me.
Yeah, 5.5, 6 for me. I think by the time the end of the year, when we get to our picks, this could be in the conversation. It's definitely the best sequel I've watched this year. I was trying to think what we've seen, and all I can think is bad stuff. Puss in Boots is still very good.
Puss in Boots is still up there. Like, it's between this and Puss in Boots.
And the only problem I would say this, that maybe it's a little bit safe, but that doesn't take away any of my enjoyment of it.
You know exactly what's going to happen. There's nothing unpredictable, really.
No, even if they changed it, I think that might have annoyed me. So I don't. It just did what I wanted to do. It's like, it's a Creed film. It says on the tin.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. I enjoyed it. I thought everyone was great. Jordan was great. Majors was great. Tessa Thompson was great. I thought the kid was great. I really enjoyed it.
But it's not groundbreaking. It's not gonna change your life.
No, exactly. But does it have to?
No, definitely doesn't have to. Exactly. But that's why I'm not giving it a 7.
Yeah, me too. Let's go with 6. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a recommendation for both me and Rich. I think go and see this film. I really enjoyed it in IMAX.
Yeah.
I'm sounding like the Michael B. Jordan advert.
I can imagine.
It was filmed with IMAX cameras, and the only way to see it. That's not a good impression.
It's really good to talk about a really good film.
Oh, I really enjoyed it.
If you want to go back and find some other times we've talked about really good films, then there are loads. So you can go back all the way back into time, all the way back to our first ever episode, and listen through and see if you can find all the times we've talked about good movies. We obviously talk about a good one every interview episode, and there are loads of those, 4 seasons worth, and very soon 5 seasons.
Very soon. If Rich doesn't get ill for a while, we might really crack on.
I'm hoping. Got my fingers crossed. Like, there's no more. My immune system isn't going to kill me in any other ways. Like, this is all good.
This is all good.
So yeah, season 5 coming soon. But yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit the auto download button. We'll drop into your pod player of choice every single week. You can look us up on social media. We are at Unequal Sequel on Twitter and on Instagram. Or you can send us an email, unequalsequel@hotmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Creed 3. We'll read out your thoughts in the end of month roundup. And also, if you like us, please give us a little review. A heart, 5 stars. If you're on Apple Podcasts, tap us out a little review. We love it. We'll also read out your reviews at the end of the month roundup because we love them. And if you really, really like us and want loads more, then you can check us out on anotherslice.com/unequal sequel. You can join our subscription service there for $2.99 a month. And you'll get things like our brilliant series Box Set Mentality, or a brand new series Disenfranchised, where we talk about movies that should have had a franchise and didn't. And you can also check out loads of the new trailer breakdowns. And when we have our interview episodes, there are sequels to those interview episodes where we talk about extra bits and bobs, especially for Another Slice listeners.
Yeah, I think you sold that all very well. So
cheers, man.
I'm just going to say thank you, everyone, for listening. You guys absolutely rock. I'm just going to go now for a run. I'm going to go work out. I think I might take up boxing. How hard can it be? And then I realised I've never been punched in the face before, and I think it would
apart
hurt.
from me.
Oh yeah, we forgot to go into that. Rich once nearly knocked me out because we did a boxing scene of a short film, and it went wrong.
I punched Dave by accident. I was supposed to miss and I didn't. It just laid Sparko on the floor for a bit while we all panicked.
Right to the left hook. So that's nothing else from me. It's a bye-bye. Bye-bye. It's a bye. And a bye from him.
Bye!
See you on the next one, the sequel to this one. Next round. Ding, ding!
Lovely.
Yeah. I was going to do a Rocky reference there, and I forgot what it was.
Oh.
You know, one from Rocky 3 was like, are you going to ring the bell? And it goes, ding, ding. And then,
I don't know. I haven't seen Rocky 3.
Oh,
so.
that's got the greatest ever hold of at the end, like, cut ever.
Really?
Yeah. Better than Beneath the Planet of the Apes.